found this campsite for the night in Indiana. I'm on my way to a place where I can work on my van. I got a couple solar panels here I'm going to put on, 200 watts a piece. I also got this ladder rack that I'm putting on some pieces to it. And then I got 2 more boxes here. Good thing it's tough. There's another one. I can make spaghetti. What can you do, Claire?
I can take a guy's ass cheeks together.
I could take one of your buns together.
Yeah. Don't slide it, lift it. There we go. All right, come back. We gotta lift it and come back. Lift it up, Charles. Come back, stop right there. You know what? I have some heavy aluminum.
What if we just
Then it
take
won't
the
rust.
Hey, what if we just take the tube that you took out and use that?
We could just cut the ends off, stick them in with the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. All that work for nothing.
Well,
Because I had a bunch of 1/4 inch strap in here already. I didn't realize it.
cut it at an angle.
I did, I forgot about this. And I looked down and I seen it. It's super clean cut on the edges because it's all water jet. Unplug it
So I had to
first.
cut this bar out right here because of my
Yeah,
fan.
that was a good idea. That's a good idea.
But then this mounts onto it with this hole in here. So what we're gonna do is we got that bar we cut out. We're just gonna cut that off right there, and then we'll still have our mount. Just won't have the center of the pipe. We're gonna cut the end off of this right here and save this hole for the mounting.
Hold on.
I'm just gonna chop that end off right there, and then just that'll be sticking out on each side because of my fan in the middle. Here's what we had to end up doing with that. Josh made a custom bracket for this to keep that from pulling down because it don't have the bar all the way across anymore.
All right, we got a 3/8 hole.
So all the welding and grinding and stuff we were doing is for this. This is a bracket that we made with, this is a bracket we made, and it's got hitch locks on them. And that's what holds my traction boards on, and I'm able to lock it in. Brackets look like on this side. It's got pressure pushing in on the solar panel, and it's also got this foot to keep it from lifting up. It also holds these on. And then up here there's an aluminum bracket, 2 of them. It's kind of the same idea. I'm also going to install this breaker in my solar to shut the solar off. So I have to mount this box, then the breaker mounts inside there, and then the solar wires hook up, and then it's got a cover on it. So that's what I'm doing now, and I'll just have to cut my solar wires, just go straight to my charge controller, and I'll have to cut it and insert them in here and here to go into the breaker. So I'm going to cut these 2 wires right here and insert that about right there somewhere. I got one ferrule on. Kind of doing this the hard way. I'm cutting, kind of scoring that and then trying to pull the insulation off because I don't have a stripper, but that's how I did it the first time. It just seems a little harder this time because the wires are cold, maybe. I don't know. Alright, second time was easier. I really fought with it the first time. That's the first ferrule I've ever crimped on, so I've never really heard of these things until the other day, and they sound like a good idea, so they just keep this from fraying out. I think I got the cheap ones though, because it doesn't really fit right here over the wire. I'm trying to get the tip of that wire kind of even with that, which means that should kind of go on the outside of that to protect it a little bit. I think that's the purpose, but it just barely fits, so I kind of have to jam it on there. So I'm about an 1/8 inch. Be nice if that was a little looser, and maybe, you know, I could put some shrink wrap on it or something. I just got these off of Amazon, so I don't know how good they are, but they'll work, I guess. The main purpose is just to crimp that you know, crimp that so it ain't like a frayed out end, especially down there in the charge controller, because on these Victrons the inputs are so close together, it's so easy to touch the ground, the positive and negative, and ground it out or short it out. And then I got to shove it down in this hole and get it in the breaker here. So trying to do that and keep the wires from fraying out, it's going to be a lot easier with these. I didn't record me putting all this in there, but basically I tried putting the wires in first and then shoving the breaker in. That didn't work because it's just so tight in there. So I ended up having to put the breaker in and then just shoving the wires down in there, and they just fit down in there, and you screw it in. And now I'm putting the cover on. I had to loosen up my battery charger, just get it over slightly, so I can finish installing this cover. I guess it was dragging back here. I'm getting that on, tightened up. Kind of tight, but I didn't measure this or anything. I just hung this and it just happened to fit right there, so that worked out good. I'm not going to turn it on yet because I don't have the solar hooked up, but it says on and off right there. I got it off right now. I still got to put ferrules on the charge controller. I'm waiting for those to come because they're bigger. Actually, I can do these, but for the output I need they're bigger wires. So cool, now I got an on off switch for my solar. In this episode of how not to install shrink wrap, I don't have a heat gun, so it's better than nothing. As long as I don't hold the flame on there, I think I'll be good. This is really how I've always done it, but I heard it's wrong. But hey, it works. So there's my input for my charge controller. I pulled it off. I cut the old end off. I got some shrink tube, and now I'm putting ferrules on it. Before I just had the raw end wire frayed in, just jammed in there, so it worked, but I like this a lot better. Got that one off a little bit, but the shrink wrap will cover it up. I didn't bother with shrink wrap in the box because it's inside the box, but here this part's going to be kind of exposed under the charge controller, so that's why I'm doing the shrink wrap. I'll tug on it, make sure it don't come off. Look at the difference between these two. That's the ferrules I just installed, and that's the wires I just pulled out, and that's the supply side to the battery out of the charge controller. See all that wire's all jammed up like that? That's not good. So I either didn't open that charge controller terminal up enough, I just jammed it up in there. But when I put the ferrules on, that'll fix that. Alright, I just put this fuse back in, and that completes the circuit for my charge controller. I went outside and hooked the solar up. So now I got my phone. I'm hoping it'll show up on the camera here. I got my Victron app up. Hopefully that'll show up. So right now it's negative 21 watts, negative 161 amps. I'm gonna flip this solar and hopefully that'll go to the positive. There isn't a lot of sun out here, so I ain't really expecting too much, but I want to at least see it go up a little, just so I know that everything's working. So it changed. Actually, you know what I can do? I'm on the shunt. I could go to the charge controller has its own thing too. Well, and I don't know if I got it on camera. I don't know if I turned the camera on time to get that, but some of the lights on the charge controller came on. Oh, here we go. Yep, I'm getting 2 watts. So the solar panels are working. So I'm getting, I don't know if that's going to show up. I'm trying to read this too. It's solar is 0.1 amp, and then the charge controller is putting out 0.20 amps. So it's putting out power. It's just the sun's not out enough to really show too much.
Blue